all control. Her gravity is all that I know. She's over me. She's over me. She comes in with her hypnotic dance. She holds me here with only a glance. She's over me. She's over me.
The Grogak. The Gray Man. The WOODWOSE. Bigfoot. This is our continued hunt to walk with the Wildman. Join the IBRO as they search the rugged landscapes of Ireland in their search for the legendary European Bigfoot that is the WOODWOSE.
Take off your laser a wee second there. Because I've got idlo.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the special edition of the Paranormal Portal. I'm your host, Brent Thomas. Thank you guys for joining us. We've got a phenomenal show lined up for you today as we are here and we are commemorating the official launch of the brand new documentary from the Irish Bigfoot Research Organization, or IBRO, called The WOODWOSE, Walking with the Wildman 2. And joining me today, I've got special guests of the show and stars of the show, and the gentlemen of the IBRO right here with me. And joining me right now is Chris, Ron, and Jim are all three here with us. They've been on the show with me before. So welcome, gentlemen. Welcome back to the show. And first and foremost, congratulations on the official launch of the new documentary. So this is a momentous day, and of course, ladies and gentlemen, I got to be involved in this too, which was really, really cool. I was, of course, honored and excited to be a part of the magic that is this documentary. Gentlemen, this is a really an incredible film. I obviously have the foresight of having seen it, which all of you out there have not yet at this point. But, compared to part one, of course, was an incredibly ambitious project for you guys, and you did a hell of a job making something absolutely incredible out of, just the love of the craft and getting out there and doing it. But this time around, it looks like Hollywood. I mean, you guys did a phenomenal job putting together an incredibly professional piece. You got to be really proud of it.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a long road for a start. We started back in January. I think we started on January 27th, maybe.
Uh-huh.
It was the first day of filming. Obviously, there was a bit of planning going on behind the scenes before that. But definitely, yeah, it's been a long road. And of course, Ron came on for his first day out on the 27th of January this year, and he has tagged along ever since. And I'm not sure I don't even know how you planned to tag along for the rest, Ron, or did you plan on just coming along for the first bit?
No, just the first bit initially, yeah. So and we got hooked into and so what we got from day one. So
you sort of got roped in then.
Big brown envelope, thanks. Just what happened on the first day of filming really was quite amazing. So that kind of dragged me in after that.
Absolutely. Now, Jim, how long was this project from start to finish for the second film? How much time are we talking that took to create what we now have as the second installment in the series?
We started in January, so we were looking at, you're talking 10 months. We were literally on the boots on the ground for 10 months,
wow.
On and off. But again, it would have been finished a little bit earlier due to the COVID, restrictions and stuff like that.
Sure.
But we did manage to get it before it was completely locked down. I think half the world is locked down as it is. But it was a great success. A few little bits we had to do to reshoot a couple of bits at the end. But it all turned out, it's fantastic. As I said, you've seen it, Brenda, I've seen it. The other lads here have seen it. I've watched it 2 or 3 times from start to finish. It is a roller coaster ride. I really, looking back now, it is really, really good. 2 hours and 15 minutes long. Wow. So plenty of Bigfoot stuff in it,
Absolutely. And gentlemen, what would you say, maybe Chris or Ron, whichever. Ron, since you weren't in the first installment, I guess this probably would be better geared toward Chris, but what would you say is the greatest difference, Chris, between part 1 and part 2? What can the viewers expect?
Well, part 1 was a learning curve, I suppose.
Sure.
We were quite chuffed with it for our first time around, but I think it's the technology and that we used for part 2, and obviously I think bringing yourself on, Brent, as well has added a big difference to it. As I said before, I wasn't happy with my narration in the first one. I think those people are the same, but they just can't stand listening to their own voice. So,
sure.
That's just the way I am. But I think definitely what you've done for us, Brent, is amazing, and has helped to bridge the pond.
Sure.
And of course, we did think about putting subtitles on so people could understand our accents, but that's another matter. But I think, to be honest, with the locations that we chose, the locations are amazing, and especially the Lochnair and Big Dog area. There's beautiful, beautiful scenery there, and the equipment that we used, even simple things like infrared illuminators that actually boost the power of an infrared camera, really does add to it. you know. And I'm sure when people do get round to seeing the film, maybe later tonight or tomorrow, whatever day they're going to watch it, or over the weekend, they'll see the results for themselves.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And I got to say, I was really impressed with those boosters. You know, you're used to seeing infrared night vision cameras that are maybe illuminating 12 to 20 feet ahead, and that's about it. But man, those boosters, you guys were able to see into the woods and stuff. That was really well planned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Actually bought just recently, or I bought a third one. Now, those ones that we used there, you can actually zoom those. So you can actually zoom in with the camera and zoom in with those as well, or you can pull it wide back and basically light up the entire forest. You know,
sure.
It's funny how it works too. There's infrared. You know, us guys, we can't see anything. It's black dark.
Right.
But on the camera, you can just pull that back and light up the forest. And the second one, we don't see actually if I have it here. Hold on.
It definitely was a game changer, Brent. The boosters were, as you've seen, a major game changer.
Yeah.
This is a new one. It hasn't been used yet. But besides the ones that we have, the ones that we have are sort of telescopic. Ones, as I say, so you can zoom them backwards and forwards. So what I plan to do with this one here is a fixed one. So this one would be on to keep the immediate area sort of lit, you know, and then you'd have the zoomable one fixed to the top of this, so you could have the best of both worlds. You could have a broad shot and a further shot as well. So I'm not even sure if that's it on there. You can see it there. So
wow.
Yeah. So I mean, most camcorders, even the professional camcorders that we use, they only have one little tiny infrared light. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter whether you spend $100 on a camera or $10,000 on a camera. They all have one little tiny infrared light. That's just how stingy the manufacturers are. So
Sure.
with this yoke here, with this thing here on top on our zoomable ones, well then we're going to be opening up a little bit more stuff for part 3 as well. Then.
Yeah, part 3 is in the planning phases already. That's incredible. I got to tell you, you guys covered a lot of ground in part 2. How many locations were involved in the entirety of the film?
Chris?
I thought you were going to answer that one, Jim. There was 4. Was it 4? Yeah, we went to. Well, when Ron came on, we went back to the bog to evaluate the idol. Then we went to the Cooney Mountains. We went to the Monaghan-Tyrone border, and then we went to the Big Dog and Fermanagh area. So yeah, 4. Yeah.
Including some really, I thought, very ingenuitive research methods. I liked the amount of techniques you guys employed. It was that you were using a lot of new and a lot of old, tried and true, and kind of melding it as well. I thought that was really well played, and it seemed like you really had a really diverse toolbox that you guys were employing throughout the course of this film.
Yeah. We used we did use a lot of technology in this one, Brent. That was available to us. We had multiple drones, but we were using drones in a different way than what is normally used. As you've probably seen yourself, we were using the drones to draw attention, not actually to film as such, but as a lure to try and bring them out. So that was one of them. But there wasn't. I thought that one of them was. We used a megaphone and we had a baby crying. Yes. Like a human baby crying. And as Chris can tell you, he was about half a mile or 3/4 of a mile away when we were playing it. And he had a parabolic on. It would make the hair stand on your back, listen to it in the woods. Yeah. I've heard that so many times that people have used that and have had instant reaction. But that's one of the techniques that we use.
Yeah, and I think that was great. And then the tried and true. But do you guys believe, or do you agree with the fact that you really don't find a Bigfoot or a Woodwose or a Sasquatch? More often, you're trying to entice them to find you. Would that be fair? Yeah. Okay. Now, Ron.
Yeah.
Ron, how has this journey been for you? Because as you stated, you were going to be just a part of the whole endeavor, but you went head first into this and have now become a big part of the team. How has that experience been for you?
Yeah, it's been fantastic. Like even the first day when I met the guys in filming and just the amount of action that was happening in such a small area, it was kind of mind blowing at the time. I had different intentions, say at the start of the year, for what I was going to do, and I was very surprised actually that I could stay closer to home and research. So I was hooked from day one. I was hooked. That's all I can say. Yeah, it's amazing.
Now, Ron. Also, were you a steadfast believer already, or did this process bring that out in you?
I was a believer.
Okay.
But I was very skeptical about having any of the sort in Ireland or even in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
And we've heard the stories of the big grey man in Scotland up in Ben Nevan and all, and that was one of my say journeys that I was going to take, was head to Scotland and start researching over there.
Oh.
But as soon as I met up with the guys and I had seen their first documentary, then I started reading up on a lot more reports in Ireland, and I was actually surprised how modern they were.
Right.
Like we've had reports in the last 5 years.
Sure.
Which is kind of you can't get a bit more how would you say close than that, so
sure.
I said I had to see what the guys were made of, and when I went evaluating, say the first day with them, what they had got from the first documentary, then like that was a fixer for me then, that was 100% nailed on what I saw that day.
Yeah. Now we got a question from the chat, and I think I know the answer, but I'll throw it over to you guys anyway. The question was from Pharmacy Seeds Network, was asking, did the drones work to distract the Bigfoot? And
well, you're going to have to watch to find out, aren't you?
That's exactly what I was thinking. It's like, yeah, well,
We don't usually use them to distract the Bigfoot. Actually, we'd use them to try and bring them in, but you got to watch to see that one. Yeah.
I was sure that was what you're going to say, but I thought I'd give you the question. Good, that's fair enough. So in order to give you guys an idea of some of what was going on and some of the ingenuity put forward by these guys to access areas that would have been nearly impossible to access otherwise, we're going to show you a clip. So hang on to your seats here, folks. This is one of the clips from the WOODWOSE Walking with the Wildman 2. The team embarks on the next part of their journey investigating the woodlands around the loch. The amazing events of the previous night are still weighing heavily on their minds. So the team decides to take a detour along the way to do a follow-up daytime look at the area where the incredible eyeshine was captured. The daylight will allow the team to more closely examine the area and determine the size of the creatures they encountered, along with any prints or other evidence that may have been left.
Okay, so guys, we're going to head off to our next location. That's where we're currently after. We're going to do a night 2 of investigation. if it's 10% of what we got last night, we should be in for a treat again tonight, I reckon.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just if it's anything, if we get a slight little piece of what we got last night, I'll be happy.
Yeah, yeah.
It was last night was outstanding.
This time around, we're hoping to get on one of the islands.
Yeah.
It seems the weather has improved a little bit for us. So we're hoping to get on to one of the islands close to the location we were last night, as you were talking about earlier, Jim.
Yeah.
But do you think that they would go across to some of these islands?
Yeah. As we're only getting into it is maybe a little bit rough, but we're gonna. The wind has calmed down a bit, so we still have a bit. I don't know, an hour and a half to get there. So let's see how we go, and fingers crossed we get there all in one piece.
Yeah.
Full steam ahead, Ron.
Yeah. Full steam ahead, guys.
Yeah. Split into two, upper and lower, and it has a vast amount of islands on it, but some of them are only offshore by 100 yards or so. Some of them are, and 99% of them are fully wooded and forested, so they're fairly dense. A lot of sheep on them and stuff like that. But some of them are only 100 yards across. Some of them are 1,000 yards across. You know what I mean? It depends on what size. But definitely, we would not have got near them unless we had the mode of transport, which we had.
Yeah, and to those of you on YouTube, I'm sorry about the audio. I just asked them how much the boat helped them to get to the locations, as the footage showed lots of islands and other areas, and it, definitely utilizing the boat was a key to them being able to access these areas and to check them out. Now that area, the areas you guys visited were they're pretty well known as far as potential hotspots. Is that right, or how did you pick these areas?
Yeah, well, before we actually went there was actually a couple of major scouting trips.
Okay.
I think probably the main reason why we got the boat is probably because of Ron. The first scouting trip that we went on was just Jim and I. Ron was busy with work, and I think we drove around in circles for like 8 hours one day. And the original plan was to camp out and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And the ground coverage was absolutely useless. I mean, it looks well on Google Earth. If you have a quick look in Google Earth, there's a spot we can camp out. There's a big open space. We can spritz up a few tents there or whatever. But once you go out there and get there, the ground is just impossible, Yeah. So a second trip was ordered, I think maybe towards the end of June, and Ron came along this time. And well, there was two reasons for that scouting trip. One was to find a camping spot, and the second one was to find the areas where the Bigfoots were. Mm-hmm. And I think Ron can fill you in from here, but definitely it didn't take us too long. We weren't even in the area that maybe I can't remember. Maybe Ron can remember better. We weren't in the area very long before we came across evidence, and before Ron made the decision. So Ron can fill you in more on that one, maybe.
Yeah, we drove, say, about an hour, I'd say, from one of the main towns or cities there, and we were basically paralleling the loch for miles, and we were basically at a point where the guys were scouting originally. We were literally just across the lake from it, or the loch on the other side. It's a loch, it's not a lake. It's actually fairly big there. Okay. But we came to a point, there was a big peninsula going out, and the woods just ran from land all the way down the peninsula. As we were driving in, no more than 5 minutes along the peninsula, we had spotted a big tree bend.
Oh.
So
wow.
We parked up then and we investigated a bit more, and we found a couple more to it as well. Basically, all these were pointing in the same direction. They were all pointing down across the peninsula down to the loch. So that was nearly a no-brainer then at that stage. You know, we knew what was coming through there. So that's why we decided to pick that area for one night anyway. And it proved fruitful.
Now, do you guys find that the behaviors? Obviously, I think you all are pretty well versed in the American experiences and what's going on over here. Do you find those same things over there with the with your version of the Bigfoot?
Yes, absolutely no difference at all. Brent, evidence is exactly the same. The same footprints, the same structures, everything that you can think of to do with Bigfoot. It's exactly the same thing here. The only other difference that I would maybe suggest is the two different types of prints that we have. You've got your normal Squatch print, and then you've got your WOODWOSE print, which is more squared. Your typical Squatch print is sort of, up and across. The WOODWOSE print is more squared.
Oh.
So, and if you actually check out on a simple Google search, Google on a fossil Neanderthal print, and come up on Google Images, and what you're looking at is basically a WOODWOSE print. I'm not saying a WOODWOSE is a Neanderthal, but it's certainly very similar.
Wow. Okay. That's really wild. Many people that have, there's over here, they've got some people believe there are types of Bigfoot. And certainly some of those types would seem to suggest at least a biodiversity in what we're seeing represented as quote unquote Bigfoot. And so now you guys have the Bigfoots and then the WOODWOSE. So you seem to have two versions of them there, which is really pretty impressive. You wouldn't think that a lot of people have trouble with even one existing there, but it seems that a lot of the people that think some certain types of the Bigfoot may very well be, the types 1 through 4. One of those types may very well be what we understand to be the Neanderthals. And it would be interesting if that were true, and if that is what you guys recognize as the WOODWOSE. That's very interesting.
There's a few different theories out there to what exactly they are, but I don't personally. Well, they could be a Neanderthal. I don't know, but
sure.
Certainly they're in that line somewhere along the line. Yeah, and even with you guys in the States, my personal, again, I don't know for sure, but it's my personal belief that you guys have at least 5 different species in North America. Sure. I mean, you've got the Squatch, you've got the Almas, which is our WOODWOSE, and it's the Wendigo and Diagnostica and all these different types. So there's at least there's evidence to support at least 5 different species in North America as well.
Yeah, and that's it's bizarre when you think about how much might be out there. It's something I always marvel at during the shows. It's like, wow, how much stuff is out there that we don't know? But in the legends of Ireland, is the WOODWOSE really a big part of the legendary tales and stories through your histories?
I think that's one for Ron.
Yeah, basically, through history in Ireland, they would have been called the Wildman or the Grovak. You'd be aware of that yourself. They're hundreds of years they're down through history, not just in Ireland, but in the UK and in Europe as well. So there is a good history of them there. And the way they're portrayed in history is basically a big hairy man. So it has the features of a man, but he's just a lot bigger and stronger and wild. And they're basically portrayed as flesh eaters as well. So the likes of killing cattle and killing sheep and eating them raw. So that's how they're portrayed in Irish history.
Okay. Now, is there also stories of them, and this can be even the modern claims, are there any stories about them acting very aggressively or hurting people? Have you ever come across that over there, or is that really uncommon?
I think
Well, the two guys have.
yeah.
Yeah, well, the two guys have had a couple of heroes and experiences, all right, with more on the Sasquatch type. We do have an upside down tree marker up in Big Dog Forest, which was there before, which is a territorial marker, we think, and it's a good sign of strength and aggression. But I think Jim could fill you in a small bit about their experiences with slightly more aggressive Sasquatch.
Yeah, we had only recently there when we were just filming off a couple of final shots that we had to do for finishing up a couple of retakes we had to do. Simply go up to a certain part of the wood that we know well, film a little bit, and our lines were 5 or 6 words is all we had to say. And it's something weird happened. I went back to the car to get some more equipment, and Chris was about 50, 60 yards in front of me up the trail. So when I went back to the car, Chris said that he heard either a tree knock or a bark or a break or something like that very close to him, within 50 yards.
Oh.
So that was okay. We went back, and when I got back up to him, we started to film, and I immediately started to feel unwell. I couldn't put 2 or 3 simple words together. We had to reshoot and reshoot and reshoot. Wow. Chris said that, okay, I'll do it. Chris tried to do it. Chris felt unwell as well. Uh-huh. So the two of us felt very ill. And it's the time went by, a couple of hours went by, and we were supposed to make a video call to yourself, Brent, and Ron, which took hours and hours to try and complete. Mm-hmm. So it came to the stage where we had to drive away for 20 minutes or so and come back. We managed to get it done in the end, but we do believe that we were hit by infrasound.
Wow.
Definitely I was ill all that night. I was awake half the night, really sick. It was like burning pokers in my eyes. The headache was unbelievable. I did text Chris after midnight. He felt the very same. The next morning, I didn't feel as bad, but still a little bit ill. But that was one of our, and Chris can verify that's exactly what happened. And that was only about 2 months ago.
Wow. Yeah, that's horrible. Huh.
So that was one of them. But
do you think that was a territorial display, just like get out, this is our area, or do you think it would have escalated past that if you would have stayed much longer?
Very hard to tell.
It's hard to say.
Yeah.
It's hard to say. That's the third time it's happened to me over my years squatching. But actually, my other ones were a lot more severe than that. I think the fact is that Jim and I were both there and both hit by it. It maybe decreased the I don't know, whatever you can call it, the amount of infrasound they can target on a person or a group of people or whatever it is.
Sure.
It maybe decreased, but it certainly was very, very confusing. And I would probably say if we would have hung around too much longer, probably then it could have got worse, or maybe they could have started throwing things. I don't know, but certainly I would imagine it would have escalated. It's an area that we do know well, but it's an area that we don't squatch in very often, to be honest. Mm-hmm. And I think, if a certain group of Bigfoots don't know who you are, or they're just not happy with your presence, well, then they will make themselves known.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess you all three can answer this, and whoever wants to start can answer it, but was there one location that really stuck out to you during the filming of this documentary that you really feel deserves a lot more scrutiny or looking into? Or do you have a favorite place that you guys visited?
Yeah, definitely. It has to be Loch Earn. The footage that we captured up there is second to none. We have to go back. it's without question we have to go back. It just we were there for 4 days, and the weather turned against us bad for 2 days. We couldn't really get to where we wanted to go, so we did have to travel by car to certain areas. But next time round, yeah, I think we definitely, it's on the books. We have to return to Loch Erin, 100%.
Wow.
And Ron?
Yeah, the same for me. That spot was absolutely fantastic, and I'd say we only covered, I'd say, a tenth of the area there. Like it's so vast up there. I know it's not massive, but there's just the amount of islands there that we could try and hit is unbelievable there. Now we have another spot which we know is frequented with WOODWOSE, and it's a very active area. It's, you know, Chris is researching there all the time. That's a fantastic area as well, but definitely Loch Erin is definitely 100% we'd be going back there.
Mm-hmm.
I have to agree with the boys. In saying that now, I did like our second location we went to on the Monaghan-Tyrone border. But
yeah,
I think, well, you have to see for yourself, but I think maybe it does warrant more investigation. But, excuse me. But yeah, I definitely have to agree with the boys. Loch Erin, the Big Dog area. We didn't even get, Ron says 10%. I would think if we even scratched 2%, we were lucky. Mm-hmm. The area was vast, and as Jim said, with the weather, it inhibited us a lot. And especially for July, the weather was terrible. We filmed in July, it was awful weather. We got one sort of decent day, and even that decent day, it was still choppy. And obviously, we couldn't afford to get a huge cruiser, so it's one thing that we want to do is to get a bigger cruiser sometime. So even if it is a bit choppy, then we can just cruise on through. And that did inhibit us a lot. We would have probably got, dear knows how much extra footage we could have made part today, probably there. You know what I mean? If we were able to get through what we couldn't get through, you know.
Sure. Now is without looking too much ahead, that sounds like it's obviously the place, one of the places you'll be visiting in part 3 then, eh?
Yeah.
Okay. And I got to say that it did seem like, in looking back at the final product, it seemed like that was an exciting area, without giving anything away, of course. But the experiences were right off the jump. It was like, boom, it's time to go to work.
Yeah. I think we got action within the first 9 minutes.
Yeah.
In that location. It was outstanding. Absolutely outstanding.
That's really exciting. Now, do you guys find much for prints up there, as far as, and do you cast them ever? Or?
Well, I never cast prints, and I suppose I really should, but I've never done it. I just take photographs. But okay. I think I've found about 30 odd prints or something like that in my time squatching. And I haven't cast one yet, but yeah, I definitely should start doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just curious. What size do the prints end up being over there? What size prints have you seen?
The biggest ones ever found here were 21 inches, which is absolutely huge.
God, that's
the average is about the same, between 14 to 18 inches. But there was one set found at 21 inches. And I think we worked it out one time. If there's some sort of a scale online you can get, it's you can measure a person's height by the size of their feet. So you can get the height of a person by the size of their feet. So we worked it out alongside that there, and alongside that ratio, thinking that if squatches are pretty close to us, then it might be possibly the same. And that worked out that if that squatch had 21-inch prints, that it would have been 11.5 feet tall.
Jeez, that's a monster. Wow. That's incredible. And I guess I wouldn't have thought that. I would have thought that, being as it's a smaller ecosystem up there, that they would have I would have guessed been 7-8 foot tall, for the most part. But that's a monster. That's a huge one. Wow. Okay.
Well, it's not an unknown thing. I mean, a lot of reports of big ones they got in Canada, Prince of Wales Island, and all those sorts of places have got reports of 12-foot ones. So,
Yeah.
and they're pretty common. Common at 12-foot in Canada and places like that. So it's not out of the question. Definitely not.
Sure. And I've heard murmurings of even taller than that. And it just gets to the point that I don't know if there's a determinate growth on these things or not, because it seems like maybe the ones we see are actually younger than we think, and there's a possibility that there's these very old ones that get very big, more into the no man's land kind of thing, but very incredible. I guess this probably be a good point to share the second clip from the upcoming, or the release day is today, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, this is now available on Amazon Prime, so you can get done watching this and go right to Prime and check it out. It's incredible. It's very good. But we're going to look at clip number 2 now of the IBRO and their second documentary, The WOODWOSE, Walking with Wildman 2. The preceding recreation was inspired by actual events reported in County Down in 2011. Encounters such as this are reported with surprising frequency in Ireland, and these experiences continue to inspire the team to head into the wilds to discover the evidence of these elusive creatures. The guys now set their sights further south. Jim arrives ahead of the others and happens onto a surprising discovery.
Go. A dead sheep. Don't know what happened to it, but we're on the Monaghan Tyrone border where very large cats have been seen over the last 20, 30, 40 years. So that's why we're taking precautions. We have the high-powered rifle here just in case. The carcass is here. Just on the left hand side of the trail. I've set up a trail cam on the right hand side just to hopefully catch anything that may be in the area, either be a cat or one of the squatches.
Chris and Ron arrive and join Jim on location to set the stage for another leg of their investigation. The guys expand their repertoire with the addition of some specific techniques and triggers meant to draw the Bigfoot out of hiding. Wow. And there you have it, folks. You get to hear me at work, too. That's kind of fun. You guys did a good job picking these clips out, because I get to be a part of it, too. That's just neat. Jim, it's really cool that you brought your cannon with you. That's a pretty big gun.
Yeah, just in case. It's plenty of stopping power, so... It's a 7mm WSM Winchester short magnum, so it does the job for me. So that's just for the cats, folks, not for the squatch. It's just for our own protection. So that place is notorious for big cat sightings. So that's all that was there for.
No, sure, yeah. I you hear those reports all the time over there in the UK with these big cats, and I just heard some recently, some new claims that are coming in about that, and that has got to be a little terrifying, because of course we're on the menu, when it comes to the big cats. There's no question. Jeez.
Yeah.
And what location was that? You said you're on the Tyrone border.
That's the Monaghan Tyrone border.
Yeah.
Basically, we were from the Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland. We were literally less than half a mile from the border itself.
Mm.
We were on the south side of the border, so on the Republic side.
Yeah, that's incredible. And did you guys ever see throughout the filming? Did you ever see any signs of the big cat other than that carcass, or?
We had, as I said, we used the baby crying thing, which did work all right, but it brought in a cat behind Ron.
Oh,
So Ron was growled at. So yeah, it did work all right. But yeah,
that'll keep you on your toes. Wow, that's incredible.
yeah.
Now, as far as fauna over there, what is the natural fauna in the Irish woods? Well, I mean, you have deer. There's obviously lots of farm animals and such about. But what would you expect to see in the forests of Ireland?
Yeah, there's not the ecosystem we have here. Our biggest predator would be a fox. We don't have any wolves. We definitely do not have any bears. Bears are long gone. Another thing about Ireland is we have crickets all right and grasshoppers, but they don't call like they do in the States. Here in Ireland, when it's dark at night time, you can hear a pin drop from 100 yards. It's silent. It's it's deathly quiet, which makes it more interesting as how close something so big can get so close to you without making a sound, which is outstanding to me. I don't know how they do it, but you can obviously see that in part one. Mm-hmm. One gets within 3 foot of me behind me, so which was caught on camera. But yeah, it's getting back to what we have. It's foxes, badgers, deer. We've 4 types of deer here in Ireland. But that's about it in the ecosystem. It's no natural predators as such, only for the fox.
Except for those big cats that are out there.
Yeah, well, that's it. They're not natural predators. The story behind those is they were a lot of people with a lot of money in the 70s purchased these cats for pets and display in cages and that. Mm-hmm. So the government in the UK and in Ireland changed the laws so that it became you needed a license and vet bills and this, that, and the other different. They made it hard for people to keep. And believe it or not, people just let them out into the wild rather than hand them over. So that's where we get the breeding population from. So still to this day, they're spotted. I don't know. I think Ron has the specs on it. How many is spotted each year, Ron, do you reckon?
Jesus, off my head. No, is it 100, 120 sightings a year?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's just in the Republic of Ireland, though, Ron.
Yeah, that's just like we have a group started up as well.
150, 160 sightings, roughly.
Yeah, and that's just reportings, like.
Yeah,
that's what people. Yeah, they're the ones that as I say, are reported. How many are not reported?
Yes, that goes for the Bigfoot as well. But we got a question in the chat. Says, are the big cats most likely what we understand as cougars, or what kind of cats do you suppose they are?
No, they're basically black panthers and leopards, a leopard cross is what they are.
Okay, wow. So they're a pretty significant sized cat then.
Yeah.
Huh. Do you guys ever find like kills up in trees and stuff like that over there?
Not, I haven't myself. Now, I'm an avid deer hunter. I've not seen him, and I'd be wary of and aware of that situation. But I have been looking. To date, I have not. No.
Okay. Yeah, I was curious because sometimes some things are up in the trees that I don't think, like our mountain lions are supposed to do that as well, or at least some of the Florida panthers and stuff. But there's some things up in those trees sometimes that are just way too big. Just way too big for an animal like that to pull it up, and that makes me wonder if the Bigfoot don't do it from time to time. So that's why I was kind of curious.
Yeah.
So when you checked out that deer carcass, did you find any tooth, or did you inspect it at all, or not really? Like,
I had a look at it. I flipped it over and had a look. It was well scavenged at this stage. So the whole hind quarters was gone. Basically, from the inside cavity was stripped clean.
Okay.
But that could be foxes or anything. But I tried to look for kill marks on the neck or anything. I couldn't see. It was well decomposed as well. But it just goes to show you that that sheep was in a place where it shouldn't be. So there was no sheep in the area whatsoever.
Do you suppose
that mightn't necessarily have been a big cat kill, because a big cat would go for the throat.
Yeah.
It could well have been a Bigfoot kill, because a Bigfoot would grab the legs and break.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Both legs, and then that would break the neck of the victim. So that could have happened. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
That particular area is quite popular for both. So I mean, there's a lot of big cat reports there too, and a lot of Graka, Puka sightings, and of course the WOODWOSE. So there's all those sorts of reports in that area, and it could have been either one. I personally don't think it was a big cat kill. There's big cats in the area, and Rowan actually heard something just a few miles. I think we travelled a few miles right after that, and Ron and Ben maybe heard something. But I definitely think if it was a big cat kill, Jim would have seen, the rations in the neck or whatever. So I mean, it could have been anything. The sheep could have just died. We don't know. Sure. But I mean, if it was a kill, it wasn't a big cat kill. It was likely probably a WOODWOSE, just like that, breaking the legs.
Yeah, that's incredible. It's got to be disheartening because that's when you got two things out there you got to really pay attention to. And now I got to ask you this is peripheral, but it's something I've always meant to ask you and I haven't remembered to. But do you guys have the missing people phenomena over there a lot, where people in the woods are going missing, or is that very rare over there as far as you know?
That's more for Jim in the Wicklow Mountains, isn't it, Jim? There's a few.
Yeah, there's a few people who've gone missing in the Wicklow Mountains, which is south of Dublin, without a trace. They disappeared. But again, God knows what it is or how it happened. Is it crime? We don't know. Is it worse? It's, there's various different stories,
Yeah. And the reason I ask is, of course, we do, the David Paulides missing 411 phenomena. A lot of people believe, or at least have put forward, that could it be the Squatch? Could it be, the Bigfoot or Sasquatch that's doing some of that? And I guess it's possible, because if somebody really irritates a Squatch, it could happen. But
well, there was one incident in the Wicklow Mountains a few years back, and the police report said that the guy fell off his bike. Right now, whenever the body was examined, the arms were ripped from their sockets.
Oh.
His leg, hips were ripped from their sockets. Almost every bone in the person's body was broken.
Oh dear God!
And completely covered in bruises all over. So I mean, that is not just falling off your. I don't mean a motorcycle there. I mean a push bike. So,
jeez.
That's what the police said. He fell off his bike. I don't think so. Somehow, no. I think what's happened is he's got in with the wrong Squatch, and he's been through about a wee bit. I think maybe, So,
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks like an act of strength. Something you would expect, I guess, of an animal without talons or the kind of teeth used for killing. Then brute force. Mm. Yeah, that's a brute force kind of thing. Wow. Yeah, you shouldn't be able to ride your bike fast enough to rip your legs off.
No.
I know. I can't.
Just like I said earlier with the sheep as well. That's the thing. That's what's a lot of people believe that they do is they grab the legs and bump to kill their prey. Whether that's a sheep or a deer or whatever the case is. That's maybe a deer that maybe break the neck or something like that.
Sure.
But certainly for this guy to fall off a bike and have that much injuries is just ridiculous to say he fell off his bike.
Yeah, that's and I'm not laughing because that's funny. I'm just laughing because that's really funny. The other kind of funny. So anyway, I don't know. That is crazy. Whether or not they act aggressively, I guess it makes sense to me that they have a range of emotion just like we do. There's people that are very aggressive and will attack anybody for any reason. Then there's other people that never would, and I think the same is true for the Sasquatch. Would you agree?
Mm. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm really excited for people to check this out, guys, because it's such a well done film. You guys catch some incredible evidence, and I'm not going to go into details about that, of course, ladies and gentlemen, because it's up to you to go check it out. That's what this is all about, making you guys aware. But if there's any other questions let me know in the chat. I've been kind of half-heartedly watching it, but I haven't.
Can I just put a question to you, Brent, before we finish? Actually, because
Oh, please.
I'm sure the guys want to hear from the narrator. So just before we finish the show,
Sure.
Can I ask yourself, what way did you go about? Obviously, it's your first time you've narrated a film. So,
Yes.
what way did you what angle did you take at that? To actually start? Did you just jump in, watch the whole lot, and hope for the best, or did you take it bit by bit, or what way did you do that?
I just watched piece by piece. I felt, I was kind of trying to emulate a Mike Rowe in it. I was like, what just happened? What's going to happen? And how can I best bridge that in words to, help the cohesion of those moments? And it was really cool. I mean, it was a lot of fun to dig into it, and you guys gave me complete creative license, which I really appreciate. So I was able to write all my own parts and figure out what I was going to say and then do it. But it was a lot of fun to think of it. Well, I had my bracelet on. What would Mike Rowe do? But it was really an amazing experience. It is a lot of work. There is a bit of pressure with that as well because I want to represent what you guys are doing as well as I can. And, it was my goal was to be a part of the film, not be something happening on the film. I wanted to be really involved in that process with you guys, and you guys allowed me to be that. And it was incredible. I really enjoyed it, and I'm really excited for people to hear that, too. It's certainly my first foray into narrating, and, I've got some trepidation about it. I don't know how that'll be received, or, will there be, what's that annoying guy keep talking about, man? It should shut that guy up. So
No, it was fantastic, Brent. It was really good, I have to say. It, as Chris said, it did hopefully it'll bridge the pond between Ireland and the USA. Hopefully your narration was perfect. And again, as you said, we gave you free license to say and do what you will, and you did that with flying colours, I have to say.
Oh, well, thank you guys. It was
I
awesome.
have to say myself, I think, the documentary was made like a fly on the wall. So everything that we done was as it happened. So I didn't see any point in making that any different for you, Brent. And I think it worked out as well as what everything else did. That's the only way we could have went.
Oh, I appreciate it. It was a true honor. So I hope that it's well received by the viewers and such. But I'm really looking forward to doing part 3 with you guys too. So.
Yeah.
Awesome. Just before you finish, one more question for you. Was there any particular part which you found really difficult to do?
In the whole process, I guess, not really. I know it was. There was quite a few parts in there, and so I guess the hardest part for me is the pressure that I gave myself. Just doing it and doing it and doing it and writing and rewriting and re-recording and trying to really bring out that perfectionism as much as I can. I guess I'm pretty naturally creative, so it wasn't hard for me to write parts for it. And I have a pretty decent vocabulary for the most part. So I guess the hardest part was just hoping that what I was doing was going to accentuate the whole work, and not, become a problem or not have that flow. But in watching it, since I got an advanced copy, I was just like, oh, thank God, it flows so naturally from one to the other. And you did a hell of a job with the editing as well, Chris. That would really came together beautifully, and the music is off the charts. I just love all of the music you picked for this thing.
Yeah,
of course. Yeah, I think we all had a part to play in how it looked too. I mean, even yourself, Brent, there was things that you'd seen or whatever that you thought didn't just look right. So maybe you'd said, Chris, should we change this or whatever? Because I mean, even while you were watching over things for the narration, Rod and Jim were the same too. There were certain things that they had seen or said about that they weren't maybe happy with and should have been changed. And even yourself, Brent, as I say, you've done a bit of that yourself.
Yeah. Well, that was a hard part for me. If there was one hard part, it was when I saw that, like when I saw the things that I did suggest to you. I sat there biting my tongue for a while. It's like, God, I don't want to seem like I'm trying to move into a producer role here, but there was just some things that I thought, hey, maybe this would be better in this part, and you would really graciously receive that, and thank you for that, because that was really fun to be a part of that process as well.
Yeah, I believe anyway. The guys will tell you too. Yes, I directed it, yeah, but the guys are as much part of the creative side as what I am, and those guys' ideas were used, and Ron's and Jim's ideas were used just as much as what mine was. So I mean, I think that's a joint effort. Yes, fair enough. I can maybe say I would actually want to film something, and where people should be standing, or maybe something like that for a certain scene, those sorts of things. So obviously that's simple techniques, so that each camera that we're using can see the people, so nobody's blocking a person or stuff like that. But I mean, the things that we done on the field, was as much Jim and Ron, and the things that were done afterwards was as much you three guys as it was me.
Yeah, well, it's the cool thing is that you guys obviously have a really incredible team, and I was honored to be a part of that and become a part of that process. But it's you just get the right people involved, and really cool things happen. And this is one of those really cool things. Is you guys are all it's very clear that you all very much love doing this and are loving this process and putting this out there to the world at large, and I think that's awesome. You guys did an amazing job.
Thanks, Ron. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Done an amazing job yourself.
What's that? I'm sorry.
Done an amazing job yourself. I think we're all sort of you're on the same boat. So yeah. I thought all the glory is not for me; it's for you guys as well. Of course, young Ben, our camera operator as well. He was well into it too, and he deserves all the pleasure too.
Yeah, he did a great job. He's a very brave young man.
Yeah, it's when we all wanted to run away, he'd be heading towards it, with the camera. I'm going to get this.
Wow.
So which he did. So
yeah, he's a real pro in my book. He's got more fortitude than I've got, because I would have been probably laying down in the fetal position there a couple of times. But
yeah,
there's actually one scene in the film. I'm not going to go into detail, right? But there's one scene in the film, and I watched it back, and I think Jim was wandering off somewhere. I think it was me and Ron. We're standing having a chat. It's actually in the film, and Ben just says, "It's behind you," Me and Ron's.
So. Yeah, he's very good. Very good for a 17-year-old young man,
Yeah, do you know if is he going to pursue this kind of stuff in his future? Do you know, or is this just a side gig?
Yeah, I'm trying to push him in that direction, but he's come to the age now where girls are more important than So he's just at that age now,
Sure. That's all right. But gentlemen, it's an incredible video, an incredible documentary, and it's an incredible entry into the the worldwide work going on to document these species and bring awareness to them. And you guys did one hell of a job. And again, I was absolutely thrilled to be a part of it. And thank you for taking the time today to come on the show and letting the Paranormal Portal be the official launch platform for this. I'm very honored to be doing this too.
We just hope, Brent, that it's well accepted and that it shines a little light on our little country. You know what I mean? That the Bigfoots, it's not just an American thing. They're all over the world. They're everywhere. Amen. So for the folks in America, I do hope they go out and enjoy it. It's as I said, it's 2 hours and 15 minutes of Bigfooting. None of it was scripted. Right. It's all as it happens. It's It's all live in the field, most of it. The 4 recreations that we did were outstanding. So yeah, it's I just hope it's well accepted.
Well, I'm sure it will be. Anything, Ron, in closing? You got any final words?
No, I just second what Jim said there.
Well, I got to tell you also, folks, make sure to watch to the very end because you don't want to miss it. And I'll let you guys discover what that means. But there's some.
I just call on that one. Just call on that one. Don't forget, guys, to get on to Amazon.com and the WOODWOSE Walking with the Wildman too. It's in the USA and UK.
Awesome. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here with us. Gentlemen of the IBRO, thank you for coming on the show, and thank you for making me a part of this whole vision. I'm going to just keep encouraging you to go check out this amazing video. It's just a fantastic documentary. And let us know what you think. If you check it out, please, if you enjoy the work, leave a review on Amazon for sure, and let others know what you think too. That helps a lot. Yes,
5-star review, Brent. 5-star review. 5-star.
Please, yeah, 5-star, folks. Yeah, please. We do hope you can do 5 stars. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. For all of our sakes, please. So I guess that's going to probably wrap it up for us tonight. Thank you so much, or today rather, but tonight for you, those of you across the pond. But thank you all for being here, and go out and watch this and let us know what you think. Write the reviews, and we love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day, and remember to laugh as much as you can. Take care, everybody.
Bye-bye, folks.